Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome award-winning producer and host of City Views on 1010wins.com, Sharon Barnes Waters.
Good evening. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Words we may never have uttered by astronaut Neil Armstrong had it not been for this visionary. You see, a colored girl growing up in the segregated South in the 1960s was not expected to be a mathematician. In fact, she wasn't expected to do much of anything. But 6 months after graduating from college, she applied and was accepted at Boeing as an engineer. Her assignment was a Saturn V program. It was her job to figure out where the booster rockets would fall. While Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson helped John Glenn into space, it was the brilliance of Marion Johnson that helped Armstrong land on the moon.
9 or 8. 00572. Parity plus 00085.
7th grade is when I started math. My math instructor said, you know, they're going to need women in the field. And since you're doing so well in math, I'm going to work with you so we can see that you make that journey.
You're go for landing, over. Roger, understand. Go for landing, 3,000 feet. You're looking great.
We're just on our way to work at NASA, sir.
I had no idea they hired.
There are quite a few women working in the space program.
I saw previews of the movie on the air, and I'm saying, are they talking about me?
That's one small step for man.
If you can believe it, you can achieve it. That would be my legacy.
One giant leap for mankind.
While working on the Boeing NASA team in 1967, Ms. Johnson was responsible for preparing data inputs for simulation of vehicle pieces' impact trajectories. Yeah, that's a mouthful. She got an incredible perfect score of 20 successful runs out of 20 attempts. And yes, her name is listed in the Smithsonian as part of the Saturn V program. And one of the wonderful stories she told me was of her kids who saw the movie and was like, Ma, didn't you tell us something about NASA, Boeing, something like that? And she said, yeah, but y'all didn't really seem very interested in it. So, of course, her kids made her get every picture, every document, every letter, dealing with that time, and as kids do, wanted to post it to social media. Look what my mom did. Look who my mom is. And just imagine the reaction of the faculty and the students of Branford Hall Institute, where she is an instructor. When I spoke to those students, they, of course, before had no idea that this hidden figure was amongst them. And they told me about this brilliant, wonderful, nurturing, loving, caring instructor who is changing their lives one student at a time. It is my personal honor to introduce to you 1010 Wins 2017 Visionary Award winner and Hall of Fame inductee, Mrs. Marion Lee Johnson, still changing lives.
Good evening, everyone. You know, my legs are shaking. And I feel like breaking out in song, but I think my husband told me, not tonight, dear. Okay. I would like to thank Sharon Barnes Waters for her kind and gracious introductory remarks. She's a beautiful lady. She worked with me the full time. She's very kind and generous with her time. Every question that I had, she answered. She got right back to me. I love you, Sharon. Next, I would like to thank Ben Maravik. He's the Director of News and Programming for 1010 Wins Radio. Where are you, Ben? For inviting me to participate in this Visionary Awards program and for his leadership in directing such a stellar event for this evening. Special thanks to Larry Mullins, who's the news anchor, who has given me the opportunity to interview with him and to tell my story and to share my experiences as a hidden figure. Love you too. While working on the Apollo Saturn V rocket mission, which landed the first astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins on the moon. July 20th, 1969. Next, I would like to congratulate former mayor of the city of New York, Michael Bloomberg, who is being honored this evening as a visionary, and to all my fellow Visionary Award honorees for setting a high bar and being trailblazers in our communities and in our country. I feel truly humbled by being in the same room with you. I would also like to thank my family, if they would stand, please. Especially my handsome husband, James Frank Johnson, for his love and support and for always being there with me. One of the greatest visionaries of our time was Steve Jobs. He was co-founder and CEO of Apple Inc. He inspired and motivated many young people along the way. He said, and I quote, "Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it," end quote. Again, I'd love to thank 1010 Wins, the news organization, for this award, and will always cherish it close to my heart. Thank you.
Well, Marion, and this is the first time I'm going to call you Marion.
Yes.
But,
Okay.
you told us, my time getting to know you told me about a visionary in your own life. And you mentioned it in the video. It was your 7th grade teacher who became your mentor. What was his name?
Yes, Mr. Walter B. Simmons.
Well, we found Mr. Simmons in Savannah, Georgia.
Yes, he is, Savannah,
And
Georgia.
he's about to turn 91 years old
He is.
in a few days, and
Yes.
it's going to be your birthday in a few days. So
Yes.
we brought him to New York to celebrate this time with you. Ladies and gentlemen, the visionary who saw the potential in a little girl named Marion Lee Johnson. Please give a warm New York welcome for Mr. Walter B. Simmons Sr., about to turn 91 years old.